Hi everybody, so today I am going to go through continue my astrology videos, and I'm going to be talking about the different kinds of houses. So in the last video I talked about starting of like the grouping of houses, and there's two different types of groupings. This is the group of 4. So I mentioned in the last video that this is split up into groups of the houses of life, the houses of wealth, the houses of relationships, and the houses of endings. So we've got 12 houses in the birth chart, and basically they're just categorizing them, for want of a better word. I've done a little picture here, my notes. Don't know if you can see it with the bits behind. Hang on, let me hold it up together. There. So where I've shaded the areas, those are the houses that relate to the houses of life up here. So we've got the first house, which is of energy and vitality, the 5th house, which is creativity and offspring, and the 9th house, which is learning and conviction. So they have been categorized into the houses of life. Then we've got the houses of wealth. So these are the 2nd house, which is of personal property, the 6th house, which is of employment and work, so that makes sense with regards to wealth, and the 10th house of career and public status, again, connects to wealth. So you can see on the bottom picture, they're different shaded areas, and so those are the different houses that relate to wealth. So it's just basically categorizing them. And then we've got houses of relationship. So that's the 3rd house, which is to do with relatives and neighbours, the 7th house, which is partnerships and marriage, and the 11th house, which is friends and organisation. So again, totally makes sense. So as you can see, we're moving around, and then the next one is down here, which is the houses of endings. So we're just literally moving around counterclockwise. So the houses of endings is the 4th house, which is of latter years of life, the 8th house, which is of death and regeneration, and the 12th house, which is of spiritual reward and debt. So obviously that makes sense in terms of it being ending. So they've just categorized those 3 houses as coming under the house of endings, which is the one at the bottom here. So all of these things, they're just basically grouping them to say these are connected, these houses are connected. And as we know, depending on which planets are in these houses will impact, on our own personal birth chart of when we were born, will impact how those areas of houses of life, the houses of wealth, are impacted. So, if Saturn and Pluto, whichever of the planets are in those particular houses, that's going to affect us personally, different to somebody else who's been born in a different star sign. So I think that it's quite interesting. I'm still learning about it, and I think it will be interesting when I look back on these videos and see how far I've come. But at the moment, I'm kind of just trying to digest it, put it into like some sort of order that I can understand, and hopefully you guys are finding it interesting as well. So then the next video I'm going to do is more about astrology interpretation, so we can get our birth chart, which is fine, and you can get those online for free. But the value, I suppose, comes in the interpretation. So if you're looking at your birth chart, you probably think, well, I haven't got a clue what that means. That's why you need someone to interpret it, which is what my goal is, and to be able to do that in such a way that you find it understandable. Because a lot of the time when I've listened to people in astrology, they talk about things and people generally want to be able to understand, but they just don't, because it sounds really complicated and they're using words they've never heard of. So then people tend to switch off. So I'm hoping that I can kind of start to digest this information and give it to you in a way in which makes sense. So the next video I'm going to be doing is all about astrology interpretation, and there is a lot to it, but I'll break it down and do short videos. Do remember to follow me, like, all the usuals, please. Thanks.